Airial, if I could marry her brain, it would be amazing.
If you need anything technical.
She is down to earth. She's fun. She's very easy to network with.
Anything systems oriented.
Just anything web dev techie that I don't understand, Airial has swooped in and fixed. And she's my accountability bulldog.
She is a queen.
Anything infrastructure related.
She is helpful, and she helps guide and answer all your questions that you have about growing your business and networking and getting started.
She gives me life. She just gives me life.
Airial Reynal is your girl. Welcome to the TrepTECH Podcast with your host, Airial Reynal.
I just want to marry her brain. She's a genius.
Hey, and welcome to, I almost said Podcast Bay, Airial. Wow. Welcome to the TrepTECH Podcast, and not the one I almost said. That one doesn't exist anymore, but it was fun while it lasted. On to bigger and better things. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good, actually. And I'm excited.
You know what show you're on now, right?
Yes, I do. I remember. It's yours. It's not mine. I don't have one. So that makes things real simple.
You admit that this is my show. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's always been your show. The Y is just lowercase, and the rest of the letters are capitalized. It's our show.
Today I want to talk about outsourcing. Because I know we talked about your team building experience, but I want to talk about mine. I want to make this about me.
Yeah.
Me and my team.
So what about them? Are they lovely?
Ask me questions. Come on, interview me,
Scott. Are they lovely? Are they lovely people?
No.
Good.
I was talking about you and your team. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say you probably teamed up with very talented people if they're not very nice. For real, like your outsourcing experience has been one that fascinates me because my first attempt at outsourcing was going to be to hire a VA. I called you about said VA. You hired me instead. I never got a VA. But you've had VAs. You've had like that kind of thing, and I've never experienced that. So I want to know.
I forgot about that. But you have me, so you have so much more than a VA.
I know that, but I still have never had a VA. Like that's never happened to me. So I don't know what that whole thing was like and what they handled for you and all that. So like, I really want to know how you went about hiring your team as your business evolved.
Okay. So the first time I hired somebody, if I remember correctly, was when I was doing Pink Zebra. So it's a direct sales company. I had a big team. My team got up to like 200 and something. And I was doing in-person training, online training, speaking at regional events. I was all into it. So I hired my first virtual assistant, and she took care of the like data entry and stuff, and the figuring out like who was in top in sales, top in recruiting, that kind of stuff, the data stuff, the stuff that I didn't feel like digging through, to create the slides or producing the meeting. And then onboarding clients or onboarding my team members and stuff. So putting them in my email system, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Now, the next one I hired, she was actually a VA for a coach I was under. And so I hired her and we worked out okay. She did my website at the time, and she did some data entry, but this was in my coaching business, and that worked okay. And then I went a couple of years without one, and then I hired one from the Philippines, Jotham, and I absolutely love him. And I know some people get hung up on outsourcing to other countries, but at the time I didn't have a huge budget, but I was like, I need somebody to take this off my plate so I can focus on something else. So for him, one of the VAs that I hired, it was like $30 an hour. And I'm not knocking her. Trust me, I'm not knocking her. But when I hired Jotham, he was like $5 an hour because the US dollar is so strong in the Philippines. And actually $5 an hour was high. It was higher than normal because usually it's like $2.50 or so. But Jotham is a university professor. He's amazing at researching. He's amazing at organizing. So when I got ready to do one of my events, he said, okay, we need to sit down and do the schedule. And I'm like, okay, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and stuff in between. He's like, no, we need to sit down and do it hour by hour. My nonprofit, he did that research, just so much stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I would have never got this in depth and put it on paper. So he was very good at that. And that's what I needed to balance me off.
And you know, one thing I have experienced is that, and like I've seen messages from people who hire from outside, because a lot of people have recommended to me, and I'm all about giving local people jobs. I am. I do outsource to the States, but like I do want to hire people from my hometown too, right? So I hired Jesse. I want to hire another producer from around here because it helps our local economy. But at the same time, that's not going to stop me from hiring someone in the Philippines. And the reason I say that is because, have you ever given someone a job who really wants a job?
Oh man, let me tell you. I've been to the Philippines before, and me and Joe, we're like family. When I hired him, it was a couple of months before Christmas, and I paid him, and then he sent me a picture of him and his family out for Christmas dinner, and he was like, thank you so much, because we're able to have a real Christmas.
Yeah. And when you think about that, like the amount of gratitude you get from someone who truly wants the opportunity is very different. Like I feel like Americans and Canadians are very entitled. They almost feel like it's their right to have work and it's their right to have a job. And like, I'm not knocking my team. I love y'all to death. However, there's a cultural difference. My team will be like, hey man, when am I getting paid next? Hey, just want to talk to you about pay. And literally and I love him to death, but there are times where I've paid Jesse the morning of, and by that evening, he's asking me when his next pay is coming in.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and then with Joe, I had a different experience with Joe. There was times when I was like, I can't pay you, but I need this work done so we can make the money. And he's like, no problem. And of course he kept records and stuff. And he's like, just make the money because we're in this together. So for him, he wasn't my VA. He was damn near a business partner.
Well, that's
how invested he was.
And Jesse and Jacqueline are the same way, right? And I'm not going to lie about it. Like when I hired both of these people, I wasn't in financial gains. Like I wasn't doing the best in the world. I could afford them and that's it, if that at times. But it grows from there and it goes up from there. And I'm not saying they're bad. Like they're very much ride or die. We're in it with you. Even if we run it to the ground, we'll work for peanuts if we have to, like, cause they're committed to this ship. What I am saying though, and plus I've taught them both how to run businesses outside of me. That helps. Like we've had those discussions and now they see other opportunities to make money, which is great. It's just when I say entitlement, it's like they don't get their houses blown over if a windstorm comes by. And they do have government benefits if they need them. And they can go down the street and pass out a resume and get a job somewhere. And they do have unions protecting them, at certain jobs. And they do have, and I'm the same way, right? We have these things. If you were in the military, you have a paycheck, you have a pension. It might not be great, but you've got one. So we have all these checks and balances that people in other countries don't have. And when you give them a job, you have every opportunity to pay them above average without killing yourself, for one. But two, the depth of gratitude you get, like Airial said, the pictures and the, all that stuff, like it's literally like they talk to you like you changed their life and that you have somehow like blessed them from the heavens themselves. Like they treat you like such, but it's not like a reverence. It's like an, oh my God, you're my family, you're important.
Family.
Yeah. It's so crazy to see.
Because we were on a video call and he was like, I want you to meet my mother. I want you to meet my father. I mean, I was meeting a family.
Yeah.
That's how it was. Cultural
and
differences are very interesting and amazing.
And so like, honestly, if it's within your budget to hire outside of your country and, that's all you can afford, or that's where you want to feel like you want to make a big difference is outside of your own country, don't let anyone shame you for that. Go ahead. And people can say, yeah, well, you're robbing Americans or Canadians of jobs. You know what? No one would love us this much and do it for this amount.
But you know what? Also, he invited me to come speak at the college that he's a professor at. So collaborating, another opportunity, because I have an international mindset anyway. And that's how you can connect with people from all over the world.
Yeah. And the other side of that coin too is like, again, if you're like me and you have local love and you want to give people you care about a job, your family that you met from years back, like Jesse and Jacqueline, I've known them for like, I want to say a decade apiece almost, you know? So that's where I hire. And people say don't hire family too. They give me a hard time about it, but you know what? These people have shown me the depth of character they are and how much they can be trusted. They can run my business.
And you have a long vetting process. For anybody who hasn't heard Scott's episode about the team, go back and listen to that. His vetting process is so in-depth.
I spend years watching the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
That's my vetting process, and it's ridiculous. So if you're in my crew, it's because I literally have watched you for 2, 3, 4 years and love what you're about.
And mine is, okay, do you have good written English and spoken English? Because I'm going to have you writing stuff. Do you have like design skills, which is where I haven't found a VA who has design skills up to my standard. But that's because I have a background in that. And, you know, doing automations and stuff. If I could find somebody like me and you put together, oh my goodness.
Well, if we could find someone.
The organization, the tech skills, the planning, the attention to detail, the graphic skills. I don't know, can you get that all in one person?
You can. You probably can. They'd be an anomaly, but you can. But, you know, you don't need to. You can hire a team that wide and that expansive. I think the biggest thing is just identify your biggest time spends and hire them first. Let's face it, you did that.
You don't have to do everything.
You did that with us. We're part of your team.
Yeah. You're my podcast production team.
Yeah. And we did that because you identified a huge time spend and energy spend in your business you didn't want to do.
And because people get to know me through my podcast, they always ask me about podcasting. And we've talked about in earlier episodes how I would connect with somebody and then hand them off to you. But then there was that disconnect, just cultural differences.
Yeah, not enough trust established, basically.
Trust, that kind of thing. So I said, okay, Scott, how about I do the customer relations, I do the sales calls, all of that, the front end stuff. And, you know, I send you however much it is for your production services, and that's what you take care of. And then he was like, oh, that's actually good, because then I don't have to chase people down.
Well, that's just it. And I know I'm going to enjoy the people you bring to the table too. And it's a lot easier than trying to source clients myself all the time. You know, like that takes care of a major need in my business.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm going to be accountability bulldog. And I'm like, if you don't get this episode in on time, it's not getting produced.
Yeah, you're going to do the stuff I don't like, the rough handling the clients.
Oh, yes, because we can't have it any other way.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. But you know,
it's about collaborating and creating opportunities for others.
I think it was Kevin Hart who said, like, if you have a platform, you have to use that platform to elevate others as well. And, you know, he didn't bring up not to hire local or not to hire overseas or not to hire culturally different people or not to hire, you know, he just said elevate others. So if there's a talent you need and someone's got it and they're willing to negotiate, you have a team. It's simple.
And make sure to check out the TrepTECH Academy, because I will have some things about outsourcing, how to outsource, what to outsource, how to interview a VA, all that good stuff. So make sure to check out the TrepTECH Academy. That's the answer to all of your questions and prayers.
Love it. And with that, I think I'm finished. I've said everything I need to say. How about you?
I'm good.
All right. So until next week, much love, much respect. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to the TrepTECH Podcast. But if you like what you heard, go on to Apple Podcast and bring her a 5-star review. And also, if you want to check out her service while she transforms mindsets, navigating entrepreneurship, leveraging technology, building relationships while bridging the gap in your business, check out TrepTECHacademy.com. That's TrepTECHacademy.com.